absolutely would. Um, of all the numbers that kind of pop out off this box score, it's the points you got off the offensive glass tonight against one of the best rebounding teams in the league. And really, you kind of played them straight up on the boards tonight.
We did, but it was such a handful. But we kind of, like you said, I think probably a lot of those came in the second half because we were so focused on getting back. Mostly that was the conversation. We just want to make sure that we weren't going in for rebounds we couldn't get and let them kind of get fired up and go the other way. So the hustle plays was a difference in the game for us, especially as our first shot percentage started to wane, in that fourth, and so we needed those hustle plays.
I want to ask you in particular. They cut it to a point. Fee gets fouled, makes 2 free throws. McCowan misses, and then you guys go down and miss consecutive shots and get offensive rebounds. I think Fee got one, and then Dorka got one.
Yep.
And then out of a timeout, McBride hits that killer 3. Can you just talk about that sequence?
Yeah, and that was a stretch we went big. We were searching all game for what we wanted to do. Anytime you play somebody, we had success in Minneapolis at a certain way of playing things. So that coaches watch the video. And so we knew that there'd be a counter attack of some kind that would challenge us. And so we had to kind of quickly on the fly, make some adjustments, et cetera. We talked a lot about the possibility of playing big, and these guys they forced our hand to do that. And so it was to be rebounders on the defensive end. But it turned out we were able to get some hustle plays on the glass. We needed to score. I think with the timeout we took, I think we had about 11 seconds. Wasn't sure if they'd stay man or I'm sorry, stay zone or go man. A lot of times when you take a timeout, forces them to do something. And I just thought that the poise, the veteran nature of Jess and K-Mac and Fee, where we entered, to Shepherd, and Fee and K-Mac played off of it, and they just made a simple basketball play, and K-Mac made a huge shot. That obviously if that doesn't fall, we're really in a hornet's nest and having to try to stop a team that was just obviously huge. I don't know if it came through on the broadcast, but they're huge when they're their starting lineup. And then just throughout the game, there were just so many challenges for us. And for whatever reason, the whistle was really rough on us today. The definition of marginal contact, I think we need to revisit, because I thought there was, there's just some crazy, crazy calls, no calls, inconsistency, et cetera. And that's what I told our group, to have the adversity that we did. And then you're on the road. It's frustrating. I told them, let us battle for them. And, they stayed locked in, regardless of what was happening and how frustrating it might be. And then just, find a way to problem solve together. That's what it takes. And this is like, we talked about, you play the team for the second time. We've not won this year doing that, playing into it, let alone coming down here. And then they start making shots and the place gets rocking. And we had to withstand a lot to be able to, to hang on and thwart their ability to take the lead and make it really hard for us.
And you guys defended that defensive glass late. McCowan misses and Carlton gets a rebound, and the next time down she misses again and McBride gets a rebound. Those are 2 pretty big rebounds from 2 people that you wouldn't necessarily wouldn't think would get those.
Well, but that's actually the path when you play against. You're the other ones are supposed to be getting bodies on, and sometimes if you're getting bodies on, especially handling the size that Dallas possesses, it is the guards and K-Mac. And at that time K-Mac was our lead guard and BC was our 2. Because we had Collier and Uhas and Shepherd, and so that's their job. Is the other ones are consumed with the physicality and trying to fight for position to try to go airborne to get a rebound. But it's the guards when the guards rebound, and so the importance of that and how much we talk about that. It is the difference between winning and losing. And we found success with that tonight. And BC always does it for us. She's always going to hunt one. And I thought K-Mac last 2 games, knowing that we needed her to fly in and get rebounds. I mean, she we got to that point, we knew if we could go one and done, you know, they could taste it. They could taste the chance to win this game.
Last question for me. We talked about it pregame. After what happened Tuesday, there was going to be a lot of emotion. Dallas had talked about how they'd be ready. And you talked about how you like that situation. You like, as the regular season winds down, the fact that you're playing 2 games against the same team in a kind of situation very similar to what the playoffs are going to be. You have to like the way the team responded.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were locked in, you know, we can't get caught up in, you know, whatever they need to motivate them, whatever that's beyond our control. We were locked in on, regardless of the reason why they'd be excited, they're home. You know, they're a good team, you know, they're fighting for a playoff positioning. So put whatever reasons on it that they might be excited to, you know, to play tonight. And so I think given all that and being able to be steady, there were runs both directions. Third quarter, that's how we came out of the locker room and how we executed. And we found spaces where that maybe you know, Dallas started to kind of crack a little bit, and then obviously they got back in it, and you know, we kind of had to hang on at the end.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Next, Frank.
Cheryl, I mean, you want your big players stepping up in big situations, and obviously, like Kent alluded to, both he and Kayla did that tonight. What did they feed off each other a little bit in those situations, or what's the chemistry between them like?
It's tremendous. It's tremendous. You know, just even, you know, players that maybe don't play as much, they know, you know, their minutes and what they've got to get done. They know the pecking order, so to speak. The synergy that exists between Collier and McBride in particular, but you know, Shepard's been with us for a while. Juhas, you know, I don't know, we don't necessarily talk about her as much in terms of her intangibles, and I said it to her in the locker room. She just does whatever we ask her to do. She's locked in. She's always there for her teammates and trying to find a way to be helpful. So I think you know, same thing with Mitchell. So I think we've got, you know, we're in about as good a space as you could be. And it is why we have found success. It is why we got off to a rough start, but found our way back, because you can't do that without having that connectedness as a group.
You mentioned, you know, the size that Dallas brought in. Obviously, McCowan tonight was, I mean, single-handedly at some points just kind of took him on his shoulders. What was she doing that, I mean, was so tough to stop tonight? What was
just existing,
you know,
just existing in the paint? That's what she was doing, just existing. You know, clear, and you know, it's not that when we saw the starting lineup, because we weren't sure what direction they would go in without Sabali. So when you see the starting lineup, and you also know that's their identity is to play in the paint, that, you know, we knew that we had some challenges, and we sort of discussed what we were trying to get done. And but McCowan is, you know, I mean, you know, obviously it's a player that when she establishes her position, you know, we were unable to get the ball pressure that we wanted when we play around in the post, when we fight the post and get around and force lobs. We just couldn't get the ball pressure. And I was worried about that going into the game. And so we were, you know, we moved to plan B at halftime. We wanted to limit having to play zone because I don't want them to be comfortable. But we did a little more of trying at least to pack the paint and make things a little more difficult and force a few more perimeter shots. And but McCowan is, you know, obviously she's a handful. She played great.
Last question for me. I mean, you're playing a team, you're neck and neck within the standings. You have 2 just back-to-back physical, emotional games. What does it mean to come out with 2 wins like this? I mean, beyond just where you sit in the standings, I mean, just for confidence-wise.
Yeah, the standings don't, and that's just, you know, we know what we can control, and that's game to game. The standings, you know, it involves other teams. I think, you know, we haven't done it yet this season. We haven't played the same team twice and found success twice. And so we were locked in on that. And you know, certainly, you know, I think at this point the motto is kind of brace the difficulty in that and enjoy it. And you know, it wasn't enjoyable to, you know, have whistle. I said I felt like we were playing a biddy league soccer game where only one team could score, and we were at the other end the entire time, in front of their goal the entire time. every once in a while we came this way, because they were shooting free throws all the darn time. We had to go through a lot. We had to, I mean, that was a style of play, you know, that we don't see very often in our league. I mean, one big is a lot in our league. To have three, that was a completely different look.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Mitchell?
Hey Cheryl, kind of feeding off of Frank's question about Fee and K-Mac, do you see that it's maybe, you know, their chemistry has improved or increased throughout the year, or what do you think would be the credit to them playing so well together too?
They've always, you know, go back to 2021. You know, if you ask K-Mac, well, I think when it really showed was in 2022 when we didn't have Fee. And when Fee came back for the short time that she came back, McBride was completely different. And it was just like her girl was back, you know, Fee was back. She just loves everything she does. There's a huge amount of trust between the two of them. They both need each other. They play so well together. They're doing things schematically that on offense that are, you know, challenging to an opponent. And so they've always had it, but a little bit different. You know, they're the, you know, the big two, so to speak. I don't know that we necessarily have a big three. We have a big two, and those two are have been just fabulous together. K-Mac's got her 500 3-point made, and she's the 6th fastest of all time to do that. And I don't know if you guys know Fee's stat line of the points, more than 5 rebounds, the steals, the block shots. I'm gonna read it to him. All right. She's the 3rd player in WNBA regular season history to have consecutive games of 25+ points, 7+ rebounds, and 3+ steals. And probably most importantly, that's great for Fee. We now are a team that you know, our magic number is 3 for playoffs, and so we're just in a great frame of mind, really great frame of mind, and they felt the idea if you found success today, just kind of what it would do for us in our goals, and I was really proud of them.
Any further questions?
Thanks, everybody.